Came back.
Thanks, Nancy.
It was macaroni and cheese and a bun and some milk. So it was good.
Oh, that's not
They took milk with
bad.
everything.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Chocolate milk or regular
oh,
milk?
just regular milk.
Oh.
Chocolate milk's, I guess that's like,
It's a holiday today, you know that?
I don't know. But I think they had chocolate milk on Christmas. But,
Oh, really?
yeah, they got milk with everything here. Obviously, you know, the state. So.
Ah,
A lot of dairy.
the dairy state.
So they got cheese with a lot of stuff too. So.
And we brought you some non-lactose Powerade if you'd like it.
Thank you. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So we didn't want to take you, all day, and we really do appreciate being able to sit down and talk with us. There's a few things we want to kind of clear up, wrap up, and then if you have any questions for us. Don't forget. Did you want to talk about Ronnie real quick?
I talked to your dad. We were at lunch,
Oh.
and a couple things we talked about, your property and, waiting on the DA's office. But then the reason he called was Dave Cullen. He's going to go pick up, Dave Cullen. He's going to go pick up some of your personal items out of the house today, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd let you know that.
Okay.
We didn't tell them that one.
No, he doesn't know we're here. Yeah.
He doesn't know we're here.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, he just lives like around the corner from me. So
Right.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, he just lives like around the corner from me. So
Right.
that'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of times when anybody goes over there, they usually call just so I can give everybody a heads up. That way, I don't have an issue. Neighbors calling and saying, somebody's getting into the house.
Okay.
So that's why they do that. Calling and saying, somebody's getting into the house.
Okay.
So that's why they do that.
Okay. Has anybody been like checking on the house and make sure like pipes haven't broken and all that kind of stuff?
Water's off.
Okay.
I do know that.
I was worried about like sprinkling all that stuff. I usually blow them out and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
but I
right.
figured
Yeah, the water.
Anybody was actually going stuff. I usually blow them out and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
but I
right.
figured
Yeah, the water.
Anybody was actually going through it or watching it.
The water's been off for a while. I do know that, but the power's still on there. So.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
So, fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know how you want to look at it, but we need to get a tiny bit more into the weeds and into the mechanics of the time when you showed up at the house when Officer Coonrod was there.
Okay.
So the time when we were all done talking.
Okay.
So that includes at the house, that includes at the oil site, and everything.
Okay.
And part of the reason we need to get into that is, I mentioned before how we're just really want to get into the mindset of who had us in your position to say, this isn't really a monster. This is more like a Chris Watts. And boy, we remember with Chris, had we asked this or had we done this, we really could have did better. And so that's why we want to get into the mechanics of it a little bit more with you. And that's going to mean take a deep breath and get into it with us. Will it be all right if we ask you some specific questions? Okay. So one of the first things we want to talk about was when you came home, so this is after they had passed, you came home and met with Officer Coonrod. One of the first things we see on the video is you walking into the garage.
Or maybe you can pick something up. Do you recall what that was?
Not that I'm aware of, not looking for anything, maybe just opening the car door to see if, seats are, because I think, Nikki was saying, I think I see the car seats still in there.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I was,
Okay.
when I noticed it's like the first reaction of everybody's just waiting, pretty much waiting to get in the house.
Right. Okay.
So I wasn't looking for anything as far as specific or anything, but I was just reaction going in there and saying, I know everybody's there, I don't know what's going to happen. Just reaction going in there and saying, I know everybody's there, I don't know what's going to happen when they
Sure.
get in the house.
Just out of nervousness, maybe?
Yeah. A lot of it was out of nervousness.
Sure. Okay.
And then backing up a tiny bit, I jumped forward too far. So she comes home, so she comes home at 2 in the morning. She gets into bed. Was, when you guys had sex together, was that pretty quickly after she came home?
I think it was around like 2:30 because I felt like she'd be in bed for a little
A
while.
little bit. Okay.
2:30 because I felt like she'd be in bed for a little
A little
while.
bit. Okay. And forgive me, it's not a pervy thing, but she woke you up?
Yeah, she was just, I could feel like a hand was on me, like rubbing my leg or my chest or something like that.
And then that was, signal it's go time type thing?
Pretty much, she was like,
And then that was, signal it's go time type thing?
pretty much, she was like, yeah.
Okay. I get it. And then that was maybe half an hour after.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, is there any talking? Or was it just kind of a
It was just like,
quiet in the middle of the night?
just like, I just felt,
Quiet in the middle of the night?
just like, I just felt her hand around me. I'm just like, what? And it was
Time to go.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That's funny. All right. Then a couple hours of sleep, alarm goes off. Okay. I guess what I don't understand is, so then there was some talking on top of her. How did that happen?
It's like when I got into bed, because she was laying, when she was sleeping, she was laying like face down, which she never does.
Okay.
And I just got into bed and I kind of nudged her, and then she like kind of rolled over, and I was just like right there on top of her.
Okay. And so that was after you'd gotten ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you go down in your mind where you just even want to go another second without having this conversation, without some sort of completion, right? And then so you come back, she's asleep, and then you just kind of nudge her.
Yeah, I just kind of like, hey, look up for a second.
And was there nudge talk for 20 minutes, or was it just nudge and then all of a sudden you're on top of her?
No, just pretty much on top. I was like, I crawled back, I got on my side of the bed,
Uh-huh.
and I just like nudged her like that.
Oh, okay. And then you're talking while you're on top of her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That seems confusing to me. Is that actually what happened? Okay. And so, is she
She was
just,
fine, like just laying there, we just kind of talked to her, or
how long did you talk?
About 15, 20 minutes.
Really? In that position? Okay. And was there any sex?
No.
Okay.
Maybe she kind of basically position over in. Maybe she thought maybe I'd try to go again. I don't know.
Okay. And I don't harp on it too much, but I'm just trying to think, if my wife's not too much, but I'm just trying to think, if my wife's 4 months pregnant and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I want to talk and I want to get on top of her, that's just not going to fly. So that's why I'm confused. So, is that really what happened? Okay. And then talk for about 15 minutes and then it's heated and then talk for about 15 minutes and then it's heated and then your hands are on it. Okay. All right.
what did the talk consist of?
Basically, just about how at first it was more of like the selling the house. At first it was more of like the selling the house type of thing, or not going to Aspen, or trying to maybe go in at a different time, and then just switched all of it to the. I don't feel like I'm in love with you anymore, not compatible, like that. And that's when I got to the heated part of it. And that's when I got to the heated part of it.
Did she ever say at some point, get off of me or anything like that?
At the end.
Yeah.
That's what she said. I don't want you to feel like, because where I was, it was kind of like she didn't want me to, like, to, sit down or, like, hurt the baby or anything.
Yeah.
Did she accuse you
Or, like, hurt the baby or anything.
Yeah.
Did she accuse you of cheating at that point?
Mm-hmm.
So what she said?
Like, I knew there was somebody else. I knew there was somebody else. I didn't come out to say that there is somebody else, but she honestly already knew.
Your response to that was what? She said, no, it's not. She denied it.
I believe I just denied it, but at that point. So I'd always, because when she would accuse me at the beach, there was a lot of like, when we got back home, she always like said there's got to be somebody else, because she'd always talk to her friends like Christina or somebody on text messages. And they'd always say there's got to be somebody else that he's not wanting to sleep with you, like he's getting it from somewhere else. And there's nowhere else. I mean, first it's kind of like, just me getting distant, but she knew, and that's mainly the reason why I talked to her. I knew, like, after that night, it was just like, it felt like, I just felt guilty, more guilty than ever before.
Yeah. And then, a lot of thoughts here. So we know what happened, and we can talk about it today kind of openly, and that's what we need from you, is to just kind of say, you know, I know it sounds bad, or I know this, or I know I feel this way, but physically this is exactly what happened. So if you could tell us that, it seems then that it would have had to been a pretty quick transition from to...
It was like, I don't want to, like, trying to think of the last thing we were talking about, but it was, you know, I don't feel like I love you anymore, and she was like, you're never going to see the kids.
Oh, that's perfect, Chris. That's exactly what we need. Okay. And I know it's hard to walk through that again, but that's exactly what we need. Okay.
But it was you saying that you didn't love her, is that right?
And her saying you're never going to see the kids. Yeah. Okay. I can imagine how that makes you feel. I'm sorry.
It did more than what it did.
Yeah. And then the fact that she didn't scratch at you or anything, is that just because
I feel like I've never done that before, put my hands on anybody before, so I don't even know what kind of force I was putting on her neck.
Okay.
Like I said, shoot a point line, I don't know if that was too.
Did you cover her face at all during that time?
both hands on the neck? Okay. And so if it's both hands on the neck, okay. And so if it's done right, I mean, that can be a matter of seconds before someone on their carotid loses oxygen to their brain and is out, right? Did it seem like it was that quick, or? Okay. Maybe a minute, maybe two? Okay. Screaming? Okay. All right. Screaming? Okay. All right. Did you see eyes go bloodshot or anything like that? Okay. And
You
then,
kept talking about the mascara. Did you see mascara on her face?
It looked like it was like. That's why I attributed. It looked like it was like. That's why I attributed it to.
Was she crying? Is that why? At what point did she start crying?
When talking about the relationship, I'm not being compatible. And when she's talking about when I was with somebody else, that's where she started crying. When I was with somebody else, that's where she started crying. That's where I thought, it was mascara. I didn't know. Was it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Was there a pillow?
Yeah, so was there ever at any time a pillow or the sheet or anything? Was there ever at any time a pillow or the sheet or anything involved in like that on her face specifically? No?
Like the sheet and kind of wrapped around the downstairs.
The one that was at the site? Okay. And then the other sheets, the one that was at the site? Okay. And then the other sheets, they were in the trash. At what point did you put those in there?
I think that was
Obviously after I was in the house.
yeah. I think it was probably the next day or so. I think it, I don't know. I'm not sure like what happened. This is hard to talk about. Like when
Yeah.
strangles them out. Like sometimes I guess they use the bathroom. So like I think that's one of the reasons why, because I think that had happened.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Was her face in the pillow or is it turned to the side or how did that?
Kind of like on the side. She was kind of like a side sleeper, but she was more down than usual.
Okay.
But then she started both everything under the back when you used her back door.
Okay.
Now, as hard as that was, all right, thank you. So the girls, you talked about how they got into the truck with you and were alive. Are you 100% sure that's true? Okay.
Can you go back to the second? So you talked about before the fellow walked in the bedroom.
I was just getting the sheet off the bed, and she walked in, and she had her open blanket with her. She was like, "What's wrong?" Mom.
And where was she in the bathroom?
Yeah, just pretty much on the bed, but she was face down.
Wrapped in the sheet. Okay.
Just said, good. That's what I carry her downstairs.
Shanann?
Did you carry her like this? Did you drag her? How did you do it?
Tempted to pick her up and take her down, but I lost grip.
Did Phyllis see you do that? What was Phyllis doing?
She started crying a little bit. She said, "What's wrong with Mom?"
How did you say that to her?
I said, "She's still good." She's a smart girl. She didn't know what was going on there.
Did she ever touch you or anything?
Didn't want to see her, asked to see her, or anything. And so that initial time that she see you put Shanann in the truck. So she was kind of following you? Okay. She followed you and you put Shanann in the truck. Okay. And then what?
I got, Cece wasn't up yet. She was just in her room. She was getting ready. Cece wasn't up yet. She was just in her room. She was getting ready to get out of her bed. And then they were just walking around the house. I was put my lunchbox and stuff in the truck, and then grabbed the kids and then she came back.
So Shanann, she kind of on the floor in the back, and they're just on the bench. Okay. And both alive at that point. Okay. Is there any reason you would feel uncomfortable to tell me that they were not alive at that point?
There were, it wasn't a video or anything.
I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving you all the opportunity to be comfortable enough to tell me exactly.
They were, okay. Doesn't matter that every day when the fellow was talking to me at the site.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
When she said that, you know, when we were,
Okay. So that goes back to maybe Shanann evacuating herself.
I don't know if it was that. You know that smell like a skunk maybe sometimes?
Oh, that's what
I got some kind of smell that way, but I don't know what that was from.
And was that maybe outside the truck or right in?
I don't know.
Okay. What did you guys talk about on the way out?
They were pretty quiet. They just, laid next to each other.
Okay.
Maybe Bella in her lap and Cece in her lap, just back and forth.
Oh, okay. Straight off like little ones do. Okay. Were they awake? Little ones do. Okay. Were they awake?
I think one would kind of fall asleep, the other one, Cece would kind of trade off back and forth.
Were they talking to you?
Just about, just saying Daddy's house.
Oh, okay.
It was early when they were showing up there. Daddy's house.
Oh, okay.
It was early when they were showing up there.
Yeah.
Did you didn't have to wake Cece up?
There was noise from trying to get Janet downstairs.
Did she kind of fall down the stairs?
It was more like trying to get her down.
Kind of fall down the stairs?
It was more like trying to get her down and from the steps, maybe her foot at the next step. Kind of thing. They're life savers.
So then, once you get to the site, what happens? Once you get to the site, what happens?
So I get to that one site, I get Shanann out to that, go over to the part right outside the site there.
Okay.
And the girls are still on the truck.
Okay. Okay.
And the girls are still on the truck.
Okay.
Did they ask you what you were doing? Did you want out or?
Yeah, I don't remember what I told them, but they did ask that.
What they say specifically?
It was more like, what are you doing tomorrow?
Okay. That's when you buried it?
I don't remember if I dug a hole there first or, they didn't watch me do that.
Okay. So then pull Shanann out, she's maybe just sitting there on top of the ground?
Yeah, like,
First, okay. where exactly was she when it happened? In the backseat. Okay, was she just right next to Bella? Okay. So, so once again, was it hand over her face? Was it?
There was a blanket over my hand.
Through your hand. Okay. Okay.
You had one hand here and one hand over her mouth?
And were you just pushing her against the back of the seat type thing? Okay. What was Bella doing?
Just sitting there next to her. She didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Could she see you? Okay. And then, did that take the minute or two? Tell me about what you were thinking.
I was thinking this would have happened.
Yeah.
But any partial hinting when I feel little girls and when I feel my wife, that means none of this would have happened. So I wasn't.
Okay.
So she happened. So I wasn't.
Okay. So she's in the back seat. Okay. And then once she's gone, then is it Bella next, or did you pull CC out? I pulled CC out. Okay, so once CC's gone, Bella's still there. I pulled CC out. Okay, so once CC's gone, Bella's still there in the car alive, and you pulled CC out. What'd you do with her? Okay. So she went into the tank, and Bella was still in the back of the truck alive. Okay. With regard to that tank, okay. With regard to that tank, did you bring up CC, put her down, open the hatch?
Brought her up, opened the hatch.
And put her in? Okay. When we talked the very first time we met, and we were talking about this, it was a matter of just lowering her down. Met, and we were talking about this. It was a matter of just lowering her down. Okay, and so she made it feet first. Okay. Was she able to fit pretty well? Was it snug? Okay. Did you have to like move her around a little bit and get her in there?
I think so.
Okay. All right, get her in there.
I think so.
Okay.
All right. No, I didn't have to hit her back like that.
Just not to stop her in.
No.
Okay. And then close the hatch?
Yes.
And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened then. And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened then.
She said, what happened to CC? Or she asked, is the same thing, the same thing that happened to me with CC?
Did she ask you that? Okay. So Bella's pretty smart. Did she ask you that? Okay. So Bella's pretty smart. How did she sound when she asked you that question?
She said that soft voice she always had.
And what exactly did she say?
She said that was the same thing that happened to me. She said that was the same thing that happened to me with CC. And then I said, I don't remember what I said. I don't say if I just said yes, like a horrible person, or if I just put that blanket over her, doing it the same thing.
Same blanket, same way?
Mm-hmm. Doing it the same thing.
Same blanket, same way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She said, no, Daddy. That's what she said.
Did she say no, Daddy, like, please, no, Daddy, type thing? Did she say, don't do it?
And she said, no, Daddy.
Same.
I just know she had a couple spots, like over her eye or something. Picked her up.
And we talked a little bit earlier today about it. You don't remember why a different tank?
What we can go on either thing.
Okay. But if you go up one set of ladders, is that
Yes,
potentially
it's one parallel.
Okay. Now, Bella was a little bit bigger. Was she harder to get in?
It felt like a little bit.
Okay. And so was it a matter of just kind of maneuvering it? So once that's done, then
Go over to Japan. There are like some leaves in the bowl.
you get a shovel.
Yeah, we have a shovel, rake, and a weed whacker as part of our tools. Weed whacker as part of our tools.
With that raid, if I remember right, it was...
Part of it was there, it was broken.
Oh, did it break as you were digging or something?
No, when I was breaking, I was like smoothing the ground over.
On this day, it broke when you were doing that? Okay. Was that after you were all done? And doing that? Okay. Was that after you were all done? And it seems as though maybe the first people that got there saw this as a second ground.
I guess it was like, not like standing up, but it was like laying down.
Oh, okay. Were you planning on coming back?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
At this point then, this is just before then, in a couple of hours, you would make it back home to see Officer Coonrod. And so once she was buried,
That's when people start showing up, I believe.
did you notice, was she cut or broken or bleeding in any way?
No, I mean, I know like the bloodshot eyes we were talking about, I noticed that at that. No, I mean, I know like the bloodshot eyes we were talking about, I noticed that at that point.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
Had she partially given birth?
No.
You remember?
Yeah, I've never seen. She had a shirt and I think blue underwear on.
Okay. And so at that point, she's okay.
We're on.
Okay. And so at that point, she's okay. Thank you. I know that wasn't.
Can you tell us about, obviously you know when the district attorney got up and talked about the different reasons.
Here's what's that.
Right. Can you tell us about that?
As far as like her biting her tongue,
Everything you're tugging on, that to make your skin from your lip to your tongue was gone. The gun had like a, it was like a horn or something struggling to get away.
I didn't know that. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Could it be that that's what happened?
So like, I didn't put my hand like over her, like
There was pressure on her, this area.
I didn't see any of that when I put that up. Like was it like her lip was like missing or something?
Now,
No,
see the skin that
Uh-huh.
connects there? That was ripped. Like, it was gone. So it kind of made like a hole in her gown.
I'm just thinking maybe it's like, maybe like if her hand was not her head was like twisting back and forth. Could that have done that?
Yeah.
I had a blanket over. I don't know. Like,
Did you feel her doing that thrashing while you're trying to get away?
I felt her head moving back and forth.
You thrashing while you're trying to get away?
I felt her head moving back and forth.
You did.
But I didn't know that would happen.
Could you tell she was trying to yell or say anything?
Only thing I heard was Daddy no, and then like some big rocks here and there, and like some big rocks here and there, and like I was pretty.
During that time, do you remember getting phone calls from Nicole?
After before she got to my house or after?
Just any time during that morning.
I think I didn't get one until I saw her on my doorbell camera.
And that was, what, 10 o'clock?
yeah, it was right around there.
And so at that time, had everything been done out of 3319?
Yeah, I was at a different site. It was at a pumping unit.
Okay. Cool. Shenanigans on the ground and maybe a little bit of cleanup. Was there any questions we had about the sheets or any garbage cans or garbage sack?
No, he answered those already.
So then you went from that site to another site to work?
And because we had, that's where most everybody showed up there because that's still that was there. We're trying to figure out what happened.
Oh,
While you're on that subject, let me back up. The night before, you had some text messaging about going out there. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that was, I think, Friday that we had figured out there was a spill out there from like his old site instead of down there. and then there's a side comer going into those oil tanks, and one of the downcomers is tied into a back pressure line that split, and every time it was dumping oil, it was split on the ground, and the oil was coming up
Okay.
on the ground, and we decided just to go out there on Monday, because it was Friday, and we had like switched it out, or either he shut it in or come back or not.
Okay. And then it's more specifically, you talked, or your text about how you would go out there and take care of it?
Take care of it for him, and I've gone out there plenty of times.
Okay.
So I used, when another guy was out there, as part of another foreman, he showed me around out there, it was like a year or so ago, and I just got familiar with the place. Yeah,
That was
yeah.
just
pre-alibi.
There's a lot of people that say that you wouldn't normally do that.
I normally help somebody.
No, like a field to your position, like not you specifically, your position doesn't do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's the thing, like, when I was a rover and to a field coordinator, I still tried to do everything I used to do. So that's still like, I wasn't good, I just used to do stuff on my own, or just like taking care of it for somebody else. I wasn't good at the whole like, hey, you could do this, you could do that, while I sit over you.
You see what it looks like to us,
I
you know,
know. It's like,
when they came out, they're
I
like
know.
making plans to be out there, that day.
But that's not what it was.
Plans to be out there, that day.
But that's not what it was.
I was
natural. No.
I was going to help them.
So how long were you there? What time do you think you were done with the girl?
So, I mean, I think everybody started showing up there. So, I mean, I think everybody started showing up there by around 7:45, 8 o'clock.
Okay. So, and when you were there, you went to a different site?
Yeah, it's like I think it was either the 1029 or the 629, something like that. Either the 1029 or the 629, something like that.
And so, how long were you at that site?
The rest of the day until I got called away.
So then that was, you were there for at least a couple hours until you heard people acting on the doorbell.
Yeah.
And then I think it was even more time after that until you started coming home.
Yep.
And then I think it was even more time after that until you started coming home.
Yep.
And you got home at 2, something?
No, it's closer to 1:30, right around there. Yeah.
So somewhere around, 9 o'clock-ish, all the way till 12:30 or 12 or 1 or something. And then you came home.
Yep.
Or something. And then you came home.
Yep.
There was a lot to do about coming home and listening to that Metallica song. Have you heard about that?
I've heard of the Metallica song that people have been, someone singing lyrics to it called Battery.
Do you remember doing that?
Called Battery.
Do you remember doing that?
That was Nikki Kessinger. She liked the song, or she just wanted to know what it meant.
Oh.
That's what
That's why you looked it up.
I just kind of looked at I didn't have the CD with me, so I just kind of looked at the words.
And was that on the way home? Okay. And so you cut it out over
Coincidence,
that.
because it said Battery.
Right. Okay.
But it's like, it's more about like a family coinciding as a battery,
Okay.
not like, hitting somebody.
Yeah.
Why did Nikki want to know what it meant? How did that come
I don't know, it was kind of strange. I mean, she's very into different types of music too. And like, she got me into a few things there as far as music was, but like, Battery was just something that she asked me, so I knew Metallica pretty well. She just wanted to know, hey, what's this lyrics mean? And I just looked it up just to look at all the words together, just put it in my head again, and that's it. That's what I was strange. I got those lyrics in the letter.
Oh, and so now does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, some particular lyrics to it.
Yeah.
Like that guy from California.
The one that was
The kid?
at one
Yeah.
point.
Was
Yeah.
it senior?
With regards to then, which saw what they saw, you mentioned that you took the ring off her finger. And then the book, did you throw that in the trash? Okay. There was another book, Body of Evidence. Does that sound familiar?
800 yourself.
The body of that,
Did that in Will County?
What was that about?
that was just one that gave me
Who gave it to you?
the, deputies.
Or-
Oh no, they couldn't give me books. No, any book that I had was given to me by the book cart that they had. Books, He's like a military guy. And Patricia Cornwell, my grandma always read her books, and that was, she loved those books. I'm not sure that was probably one of the first books, not the first book I read there, but probably the second book I read there. But it was like they had to give me, second book I read there. But it was like they had to give me, here's 4 books, choose.
What are the books that you remember?
The first book they gave me when I was in suicide watch was, I don't know why, it was Murder at Something. And I was like, I looked at him and like, that's the one we got. And it's good. And I was like, I looked at him and like, that's the one we got. And it's good.
They handed you that book by itself, no other choices?
The next book I got, another guy that was, I guess they're overcrowded there, a guy was sleeping on a cot outside my door. He's like, here, try this one. It was one that was based like in the 1800s. Outside my door. He's like, here, try this one. It was one that was based like in the 1800s. It's more of like a situational book, like a time period book. So that was a little more calm. That was the first book they gave me.
You don't remember what it was called, Murder at Something?
We were at the Truman Center.
Truman Center?
Yeah.
At Something?
We were at the Truman Center.
Truman Center?
Yeah, I think it was Merritt King Center. I think it was written by Margaret Truman.
Did you read it?
Okay. It's decent.
Did you read it?
Okay. It's decent. I've read a book in a long time, so it was different, but like some of the books they gave you, like when you're in the whole, I know you're not allowed to have books in there besides the Bible, but the counselors there let me have a couple books, and they just like the counselors there let me have a couple books, and they just like here's one to choose from. That's one they had. I don't like mystery books or something like that, and that's the one.
It's so crazy that they know murder books, or mystery books.
You hope that it wasn't some sort of...
Yeah.
What do you think of yourself now?
Back when all this happened, when I was in Will County and everything, definitely didn't feel like myself anymore. Like when my attorneys would talk to me and talk to some of my friends and like some stuff they would say, like again, that like maybe I was like the roommate like back in the day or like went to school with or something like that. Now they're just gonna say that's said Chris Watts, that's a guy I went to high school with, the guy like did all this horrible stuff to his family. Now I know I shouldn't really, because everybody's gonna have their opinion about everybody. Like before I got in trouble, I was always the guy, hey look, there's judge somebody on TV, like that guy that's in the orange jumpsuit, or that guy that's, that killed that guy, that guy that raped somebody, that guy's horrible. Now it's like, when we come out at like 6 o'clock at night and there's something on the news, like I try not to even pay attention to it. It's like I don't want to be in that position where I'm judging somebody else, because that's, what people were doing to me. I don't want to be that person anymore, but I just hope that I can, step back and kind of look at everything that I've done. I just hope that I can, step back and kind of look at everything that I've done in my life, and then up to that point, and just I did some good things, but in the matter of the most important thing, I screwed up yours. I just hope I can at least maybe help somebody, and however much time I have left. And however much time I have left.
Was it your intent the whole time you were taking the girls out there that you were going to do that to them? Honestly?
It's like when I got there, I didn't think it was gonna, like you said about the tanks. When I got there, I didn't think it was gonna, like you said about the tanks.
Yeah, we'll just.
I just thought process and all this, none of this makes sense. That's why I know you guys keep asking these questions, because it doesn't make sense to me.
But I guess, did you... did you... You could have done it before you guys left.
I don't know.
And not had him, alive in the backseat. It could have been with shenanigans.
I didn't think about anything really, as far as, how everything was going to happen. I don't know, why it happened. what happened. I don't know, like, why it happened. Like, why I left everything out there in the field and why, like, all this stuff. Like, none of this makes sense at all.
But to Tammy's point, do you think they might be coming back, or do you know they wouldn't be coming back?
I don't know. Man, the whole trip out there, I mean, it's like I was on, like I wasn't thinking. It was like, in my mind, that I wasn't coherent enough to make that decision to where I knew I was going to kill my girls. I'm just hoping that, no father would ever want to do anything to hurt his blood and flesh, but I did that, and I just don't understand how it happened. So, I mean, I even read books that, so I always think to myself, like, was I even a dad at one point? I don't know. But it just, it's just going to take a long, long time to guilt and everything to get just to, it just takes a long time for me to forgive myself. And that's one thing that's going to do. So what they forgive me too. Stay with
And
me.
I think you said earlier that you were so angry at Shanann or whatever that you were gonna, anyone in your path of destruction. I'm saying not exactly right, but why were you so angry at Shanann?
I don't know if it was just because of separating me and my family, pretty much. Because, I mean, it happened at the wedding. Like, that's the reason they didn't come to the wedding. I mean, I blew up at my family, like, to a point where I said some horrible things to them, back in 2012 that I was, I pretty much told my family that, I don't need them anymore. Because I said, I cussed my mom out. I did all this kind of stuff. I never thought, and I don't know if it was just like Shanann coaching me on to do it, or if it was just, I don't know if it was just like Shanann coaching me on to do it, or if it was just like rage that was like I'd never seen before. And then I don't know if it was just everything that happened in July, but I can't see my kids. And I'm not sure if they're ever going to go see them again. I don't know. And it was just like, I don't know if that had to do if they're ever going to go see them again. I don't know. And it was just like, I don't know if that had something to do with it, that something inside me just triggered it, and then just like all that pent up from the wedding and everything, just like, it's like a long fuse that finally just went to its end.
What happened in 2012?
There was my mom and Shanann just like from when I proposed to her, it was at the beach, and from then on it was just like she always went up to Shanann and was like, I didn't need a ring like that when I was your age. I didn't need all these fancy things when I was your age. And just kind of kept boiling over, and they never agreed on anything. It was just like, we didn't really need their help to do anything. We just we didn't really need their help to do anything. We just we'll just pay for it ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And, it was just back and forth. And I think maybe my mom just never thought she was good enough. She always thought she was hiding something from me.
She always thought Shanann was hiding something? Like what?
I don't know, stuff from her past, or like,
Oh, I see.
Is there some conflict at a barbecue when all the families got together? When you first, maybe a barbecue that Shanann put together for everybody to call that? Like when you first started dating?
No. I remember we did have something like that, but I didn't remember any kind of arguments at any place like that. I know when I proposed to her, Shanann had her family come down to the beach too. They said say like a barbecue right now. I don't remember one that was like that.
Way before then?
Yeah. I remember the time when I asked Frank to, it was okay if I had asked Shanann to marry her. Remember that little get together? I don't think.
So then what was the flow of the way?
And pretty much my sister just didn't like her.
Oh.
They just thought, you know, that Shanann had taken me away from them and moved me out to Colorado.
Oh.
Because we were in Colorado and we flew back to get married.
Oh, okay.
Colorado for Thanksgiving to visit some friends. And we decided to move out there like a couple months later. So that was like April. I moved out there April 2012. We got married in November 2012 in North Carolina. So they always thought I was just that she took me away out there.
Your sisters was
Yeah, and I didn't bring some memories back. There's something to do with that, and then my sister wanted, you know, her kids, my sister wanted her kids like the Rain Bear and like something else, Rain Bear and Flower Girl, and then either Shanann pulled her note or Jamie backed out because of something else, and then stuff all blew up.
And was that pretty close to the wedding?
Yes. Yeah, a couple weeks.
Oh,
Did they go to the wedding? Your family?
My grandma did.
Did your parents or just your both that?
Ronnie wasn't.
Did your parents or just your both that?
Ronnie wasn't there either.
Nobody was there. It was my grandma was there, and then like the dance when the groom danced with his mom like up. It was I was dancing with Mark's mom and my grandmother. His mom like up. It was I was dancing with Mark's mom and my grandmother.
It's sad, isn't it? I mean, it all comes from a place of love, you know, them loving you and not wanting to get stolen. And
It was a great day. I mean, everybody was really happy. I mean, it's always just rang in the back of my head they were never there. And every time they was really happy. I mean, it's always just rang in the back of my head they were never there. And every time they look at pictures, it's just like, oh, where's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Never knew if they actually were going to. Sometimes they'll just like, all right, we're just going to go just to be there. But they never knew if that was the case.
And so when Tammy was happening, why were you so mad at Shanann? It was part of it, just this whole family strife.
That's the only thing I can think of right now, because I mean, there's took care of each other our whole last 4 years. It was such a good relationship. I mean, it's just like, if I never met Nikki, would I ever have, you know, thought our relationship was bad? Probably not. That's one thing I always thought about, like, just because of me. I'm just like, what do you mean? She said, well, just you know, if you met me, like, would you have known? I'm like, oh. So I never thought I would have strayed away from her at all. Like, I've never followed, like, tried to follow anybody, you know? Tried to follow anybody, you know?
Was Shanann checking your phone or?
She always had my phone.
She was checking your phone. So how did you get past that?
I just ordered phone.
Text? And you had some secret apps, right?
That was on my personal phone.
Some secret apps, right?
That was on my personal phone.
Were you doing anything else to have contact with her?
I just texted her with my work phone. And like, when Shanann, the kids went to North Carolina, she was my personal phone. She just told me, like, the kids went to North Carolina, she was my personal phone. She just told me, like, to put pictures in an app, and I just found that calculator. I just put, you know, just searched on the app store, like, hidden pictures, and this calculator app popped up.
Like, can you put your iCloud or your whatever?
Popped up.
Like, can you put your iCloud or your whatever together so she would know if you're getting at, you know, downloading apps and stuff like that?
They used to be a long time ago, but when we got different phones, or when our phone contact list would be synced up in the cloud. When our phone contact list would be synced up in the cloud and stuff like that, I couldn't have, like, she had, like, tons of, like, phone contacts. I just couldn't have all that, but it still kind of linked up at one point. But as far as, like, she asked me to get my own iCloud account, just to kind of free that up a little bit.
How about your Facebook account? You deleted that at some point. When did you do that, and why?
It was, we got back August 7th. Went to work. I think it was probably August 8th. That's when you know, they probably looked me up on Facebook and see that you're kind of pregnant. If you already found it, you probably already like.
Did you and Nikki ever fight?
We never fought, but like I said, I had to like calm her down a bunch of times.
You started.
Also told me about, like, she made a couple videos, like, when she was just, like, you know, talking to herself and saying she was bipolar or something like that. But a lot of things was, like, when she realized that, okay, like, she's the other person in the relationship, that, you know, I always put my life first over her, and that's what kind of made her take a step together before she went to, like, a baseball game or something. And, like, when I had to leave, it kind of just made her, like, kind of take a step back and wonder what she was doing. And I just, you know, told her, like, hey, you know, just because of what's going, like, just because I had to leave doesn't mean, like, you know, you have to just take a step. I was, like, comforted that I knew I was too far gone at that point, but it was...
So Shanann's pissed. She's called you 10 times. You were sleeping.
Yeah.
You had your day off.
And
then you go outside to talk on the phone and tell Nikki that you need to go home because she calls back and all that, right?
mm-hmm.
So what did she say to you, Nikki?
She was in the shower.
That, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what did she say to you, Nikki?
She was in the shower, and he said, okay. And then that's, like, when I talk about, I calm her down, he was on the phone. So,
And was she like, we're breaking up, like, we're not even...
No, she said, like, she didn't want to, like, she didn't think it was safe, or it was good for, like, she didn't want to, like, she didn't think it was safe, or it was good for us to see each other anymore that day, like, the rest of that day, just because of all that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And she asked me to come over, like, later on after she got back from her baseball game.
And so you did that?
Mm-hmm.
So what was the second one like?
It was basically about the same thing.
What was the second one like?
It was basically about the same thing. She was, you know, I didn't really know it at one point, but I guess she had set up a couple dates with, like, some Army app or something. And they never showed up. And she had already made plans with me. And, you know...
Wait, what do you mean? She set up dates when she had plans?
You know...
Wait, what do you mean? She set up dates when she had plans with you?
Yeah.
Why would she do that?
I guess she kind of figured out they weren't going to show up. She went, I guess when she went to the baseball game, they never showed up, and there was another one, and never showed up either. So
she's actively dating other people?
I didn't know it until, like...
So she's actively dating other people?
I didn't know it until, like, a couple weeks later.
How did you find out? What'd she say?
It was one conversation where I actually kind of fell asleep on the couch, and then, like, she would tell me, like, I'm not sure why she told me about it. And then, like, she would tell me, like, I'm not sure why she told me about it. But it was very random, and she could tell that it kind of, like, took me back a little bit, because I figured she would have told me that if she was actively still, like, looking around. I mean, she didn't have to tell me, but I figured she would have.
You think she told you, though, so that it...
I mean, she didn't have to tell me, but I figured she
You
would
think
have.
she told you, though, so that it would hurry you up and
Make a decision?
you're making a decision?
It might have been, but, you know, it's... She never had anybody that actually tried to, like, fix things as far as, like, you know, hey, like, I like where we're at as far as, like, you know, hey, like, I like where we're at as far as, like, a relationship goes, and actually, like, I did stuff for her around the house, not her little apartment, and, like, nobody's ever done that. She just thought it was different.
What about her male friend? Where does he stand with her? What's his name?
Jim?
Thank you.
He worked in the oil field, North Dakota, I believe, and I guess been a friend of hers for a long time, and it's kind of like a shoulder to cry on with always somebody that's always been around for her. And he had a couple girlfriends.
Platonic friends,
That's
as far as you know?
as much as I knew.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think they just been friends for a long time, especially up in oil field, North Dakota, or whatever he's working on. I think either Wyoming, they could go all over the place.
When
And it was tough, because I mean, go from just me and Shan and Bella and CC to 2 other people, and then 4 dogs.
yeah, right.
Onyx he's a terror, 100 pounds of just heat-seeking missile everywhere, and it was like having 2 dominant personalities in the house, and with her mom there, it was kind of like what her mom would tell her kind of how to raise the kids sometimes, or do this, do that, whenever they're sick, she was like, all right, rub peroxide on your feet, you'll be fine. It's like, what? Okay. And I wouldn't do it. It's like, what? Okay. And I wouldn't do it. And, saying he was like, just do that, Christian. It's okay. But it's just little things like that. And
Yeah.
It was like a clash every day.
Yeah.
It's kind of like every time I got home, I didn't know if Chanel was pissed or if she was okay. Because when we first got it, when she was okay. Because when they first got there, they didn't have a job yet, and so they were just around all the time. But then, once they got jobs and stuff, I think it was a little better for Shanann because they weren't around the house all day. But it was definitely stressful, just back. But it was definitely stressful, just vacuuming every other day.
Yeah.
And just cooking was great. That was awesome, man. But now it's always because they were down in the basement, so I was always really trying to keep the girls up. Because they were down in the basement, so I was always really trying to keep the girls upstairs while they were sleeping, so they're running around downstairs, and I didn't want them to wake up. So I know Frank always told me that waking up Sandy early is not good. So it was just kind of walking on eggshells a lot.
Yeah. A bit stressful.
Just kind of walking on eggshells a lot.
Yeah. A bit stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think that stressed your marriage with the time, or?
I mean, it was 16 months. It was 15.
16 months. Yeah.
It was a long time. I mean, it was great around the holiday times because they were already there. And, it was great around the holiday times because they were already there, and all that was great.
Sure.
Yeah, it definitely. We never really had much alone time.
Yeah.
You always had to kind of plan it out. So.
Yeah. What was her purpose for living out there?
They just wanted to be close to the kids. She was 3.
Yeah.
First time her brother ever met her.
So were they trying to move to Colorado permanently, or they just?
They were thinking about it at that point in time.
Okay.
But Frank would stay. He didn't want to leave. Sandy wanted to.
She wanted to go back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sell for a little while, but never bought.
Mm. Okay.
What about your financial stresses?
Yeah, the bankruptcy was something I never thought was going to happen. I think that was back in 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. But from endoscopies and just girls were seemed like they were sick every month. It seemed like some type of ear infection, which is figured out with just put the tubes in there and stuff. There's different operations here, a couple overnight stays in the hospital for breathing and stuff like that.
Mm.
So it was just it all go for breathing and stuff like that.
Mm.
So it was just it all mounted up. I never thought it was that far gone, but
Was any of that from Shannon's neck surgery, or are those bills pretty well paid up?
Well, I think the bankruptcy never touched the medical part of it because you have to be see, it never touched the medical part of it because you have to be specify the medical part of it, medical bankruptcy, and then there's regular bankruptcy.
Oh,
The only
okay.
bankruptcy ever touches student loans or medical stuff. You have to be specific with that.
Okay.
But you have to be specific with that.
Okay.
But I think it just took away a lot of the furniture that we had bought, and then a couple other things inside the house. Just kind of alleviate a lot of the, it took we had to make the house payment by phone every month, and had to listen to the bankruptcy spiel like every time, and it's just like, I didn't know how long it was going to take. But apparently it was, once you're in bankruptcy, it's pretty much you never get out of it.
Yeah.
It seemed like it felt like. Once you're in bankruptcy, it's pretty much you never get out of it.
Yeah.
It seemed like it felt like.
Weren't you guys behind on your mortgage?
Yeah, like earlier in like I think December 2017, and then January, February, March 2018. January, February, March 2018. That's when I took the 401k out, the loan out to pay for that.
How would it be you were spending so much money? What was it?
You know, kids and just other bills that we had, and or by the bill, you know, I never really asked to see, like, I didn't even have access to the bank account on my phone.
Oh.
So, like, I never really asked to see what it looked like how far, but I just know she'd call me and tell me, hey, can you pay the mortgage today? Yeah. And that was, you know, from my little four-wheeler incident yet, and she thought, like, no, you're never touching the accounts, ever. So I'm like, okay, that's cool with me. But I never saw the account for what was in it. I just like, hey, there's my, like, when I worked along my Ford, I got my check and just brought it there.
Yeah. There's a hair care company, I think it's called, you know anything about that? Like maybe hair dye, I don't know. It's like a, do you know if she did like an auto order through that company, had stuff delivered for her, any kind of hair care product or hair care dye?
Not something, I mean, she had like little, there's something like little, once every 2 months, had like a different array of different products in it.
Don't remember where it's from. Okay.
Was it Monet?
Monat, M-O-N-A-T. No?
Well,
Okay. There was one, that's why I asked if it was like an auto order type
it
thing.
might have been an auto order.
Yeah,
She had been something that, I know that Nicole Atkinson, she's into all that stuff. Maybe Jeanette got her something, or maybe just something she recommended.
Okay. How about the...
Melted her wrong address.
Oh,
They
no.
changed her address, and she melted her wrong address for a year. And they got a letter in the mail where getting like sued over it. We got to pay HOH for a year. So we had to pay double for either a whole year or a couple months. After that, so.
What happened to all the money? What happened to all the money that you sent to the wrong address?
They said they wouldn't credit it or anything. I'm not even sure what the address was. They said it was something that she didn't see. So, you know, I'm not going to holding on her for accuracy of something that she didn't see. So, you know, I'm not going to holding on her for accuracy of, I mean, she did so much, so it's like, I'm not going to deal with it.
Sure.
Don't need that. I wish she felt bad enough.
So Chris, what do you think we could have done better? Chris, what do you think we could have done better? What could have made you tell us the truth that night? What did you need to hear from us that you didn't?
I'm not sure what really goes to people's minds when they're in an interrogation room. When I was in there with you, Graham, I was just nervous. I knew I had nervous. I knew I had done something wrong. And I knew you probably already knew or were going to find out. And it's just like, I've watched enough, maybe some like TV shows to kind of see like, okay, what's going to happen next type thing. Never know if I'm actually right. But the next type thing, never know if I'm actually right. But I think it's just the order of like knowing what you did and trying to tell somebody else what you did. That's what kept me from doing it. because I didn't even want to admit to myself that I had done it. I knew what I had done. I knew how bad, horrific it was. I knew how bad it was going to hurt other people. I just couldn't even admit to myself that I had done it. So I couldn't even tell my friends I did it until like 2 weeks later.
So were you trying to save us from the horror of it? So do you think any amount of us asking you things different ways would have helped, or do you think anything would have helped?
I think if maybe you didn't ask about if she had hurt the kids, you would ask the other, if, something that. But that's the only reason I went with that story, is because that was.
Well, you weren't given us anything.
I know.
That's the problem.
I know.
So do you think if we would have said, what?
You would have said, you probably had to have lied and said, you saw the kid in the truck. I mean, I hate to say you would have to, lie to get me to say what you wanted me to say, but it might have been that.
That we saw this kid in the truck?
When we were talking, first,
I just wanted to, tell him that I loved him and that probably the last time we were going to see him, as far as, outside of the cell. If I'm just talking on the phone, it's just totally different when you see a face, It's like when we got on that little video conference in Will County, it was all I could do was stop, just not to break down on a phone. So, really good to see them.
What do you think you were there?
Like this. If there's a visiting center, down or something like that. I don't know what it looks like, but I know they said it's like a table. It's pretty much they set up a time and give me a couple hours. It's just in that little center, and I'm not sure what else is in there, but I just know it's just in that little center, and I'm not sure what else is in there, but I just know there's tables. I think it's like the meetings and stuff like that. But it'd be good to see them. And unfortunately, they can't bring their phones in or anything. I was hoping they could maybe show me a video or two, but or a picture or two, but or a picture. Where they pretty much only let you come in with your ID.
Can they mail you still photos or anything like that?
Yes, they can do the still photo. This is sometimes they try to play a video over the phone for me, and it's like, it's really like fuzzy or crackle gloss. It's really like fuzzy or crackle gloss.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions for us? If you ever wonder, I wonder why they did this, or I wonder why the investigation went this way, or
I think it was like the 14th, I believe, when I met you that night. I mean, you told me there was a bunch of other people coming in for statements. Was that true?
Yeah.
there was a couple people.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were a lot.
There were a lot, and
Yeah.
really,
So that
the
thing,
whole board worth of people.
You didn't get the attention you got that night, but
I just wish none of this had ever happened, honestly. It's just like you guys could have never had to meet me or anything like that. When they put me in that suicide watch cell, and last thing that one of those guys said was like, "Good luck." Just slammed the door, and I just kind of knew from then on that was it.
The deputy said that?
One of the guys, one like they call them the SOG guys, special op guys. One like they call them the SOG guys, special operations group in the Will County Jail.
Yeah.
That was it. Next morning, like when I got up to take a shower, I saw a newspaper and there was this big piece cut out of it. I don't know what that was about, and I just kind of saw like my last name around my go of it. I don't know what that was about, and I just kind of saw like my last name around my go.
if we came back to talk to you someday, would you be inclined to talk to us again? Okay.
They just took me off guard. I had no idea.
Yeah.
We didn't,
Off guard. I had no idea.
Yeah.
we didn't really want to tell you we were coming just
Oh.
because we didn't want you to have anxiety about us coming.
I would have had anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we figured the blitz attack was probably the best course.
It's like the first time we met.
Right. Oh, you knew when you were meeting me. Right. Smart props, man. That was-
Sophisticated equipment,
It is.
right?
I don't know that that's going to happen. We might not ever see each other again. But
I didn't think we would, honestly.
Yeah.
your experience is definitely interesting. We see things in you that we didn't expect to, and we don't see things in you that we expected to see. So it's very interesting to us, and it's, I hope you can take to heart that today it's a lot about us learning how to do better, how to talk to people better, how to do investigations better.
I mean, like, I had never done anything like that, so that was all new to me. Like I said, everything that I've ever seen as far as, you know, the authorities have gone. So I didn't know, like, what to expect, especially when I got that interrogation room. It just felt like exactly what it looked like. Just like, you know, we got some poke and prod, and then leave. Come back in, got some poke and prod, and then leave. Come back in, it's like, give me time to stew, give me time to, like, you know, think, and it's like, it works. It just really, like, I don't know, just drills more questions into your own mind instead of, like, you know, just staying in the room and just asking questions all the time. You know, just staying in the room and just asking questions all the time.
You liked it when we took breaks? Like, you think that worked on you?
I did.
You were like watching videos of girls at one point. Remember that? And giggling and laughing and...
Like when I was in the interrogation room?
Yeah.
When I was in the interrogation room?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you already had my phone though.
No. You took your phone first thing and then you took it.
Okay.
That was weird to me.
That's like when you put that picture in front of me and do it. I didn't have a signal in there, but that's the videos I had on my phone. It's just like, I wish I had taken those videos out more often before all that happened, but it definitely got in my head a lot. Yeah, I've never seen you in that dress before.
Really? We talked a lot about that dress.
Yeah.
Is that just
And you were
you
saying
making it up?
I never saw it.
You can tell us what she likes, what was that?
About the boots.
The boots.
Not that
Those
dress.
are her favorite winter boots.
Oh, the winter boots. The winter boots, yeah, but that white dress was a little bit.
Buttoning it up. Because I remember because she was going through the day and I had to button up the back.
That's that different dress, not that one.
Huh.
That picture, was that North Carolina? Was that?
I don't know what.
Pulled it off of Facebook, Shannon's Facebook. Shannon's Facebook.
So maybe it was when you weren't there or something.
Might have been, yeah.
You don't recall that.
Because there's a lot of pictures, I guess I didn't see when we were in North Carolina that my parents have. Like especially like 4th of July and stuff, and that like 4th of July dresses on and stuff like that I never saw.
Oh.
Doesn't that like 4th of July dresses on and stuff like that I never saw.
Oh.
Some I had in my phone, but you know that white dress I never, like they were like she was going to church or something. I just never saw that white dress. Bella's little dress that she got. And a little awkward smile there in the back. And a little awkward smile there in the back. Yeah, that definitely got my head. Just that.
So we have a picture of that one. See, like, to us it didn't feel like that.
I know, I didn't show any
emotion.
emotion.
Any
No,
emotion.
I don't show emotion that much. It's like my dad, it's like we don't show emotion. Like
Were you fighting it down, or were you just not a guy to show it?
most of the time I'm not a guy to show it. Like I hold it in as much as I can, and like, you know, in my cell I'm crying a lot, obviously, but like I don't know, I try to hold it as much as I can.
You were a difficult guy to read, and especially at the house that day. That was That makes total sense now.
I knew it was like, because I looked like I was a heartless, no soul person, soulless person. When they did like the TV interviews or something, I was like, I just about never saw it. I don't even want to know what I looked like, what I sounded like.
But you were obviously feeling it.
No, everything was like just harbored deep down, and then like I think it was just one night when I was in my cell, it just all hit me all at one point. Not the fact that I was in jail, but the fact that like everybody was gone.
Right.
And none of it. I think if it was like, like if something happens like horrible like that, it registers at one point. But if like you did it, I don't know if like it just doesn't register at one point. It's like in my head, it never registers.
Does it seem real now?
Oh, it feels real, like every day. Like I see pictures, I just know like where they were at. Like some type of hearing over the phone, and I heard like Frank and Sandy and Frankie and them, they were on the phone, and I forgot what kind of hearing it was. Something about like a probate hearing or something. I knew exactly where they were in the back. I heard the birds chirp. I knew they were on the back deck, and I just like walked back to my cell, balled my eyes up, because I knew exactly where they were. And how many times the girls were back there. And it's just weird how emotions process differently for me than everybody else. Like something like you said, you lost your kids in the grocery store for 5 seconds, you'd be a mess. And then like your kids in the grocery store for 5 seconds, you'd be a mess. And then like, for me it'd be like, I'd be panicked, but I probably wouldn't cry. I'd be like looking around trying to find them, but it's just like it just processed differently for me. I never knew why. Never know why. Never know why. I don't want to think I'm like a cold-hearted person. It's just a matter of just don't show good emotions as much as other people do. Show good emotions as much as other people do. Even when the girls left North Carolina, her aunt's brother, mom and dad were all crying when they left. It's just kind of like, I never really saw my parents get like that when they left. I never really saw my parents get like that when they left. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's like you're born that way.
Like your family doesn't show emotion like that, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, my dad couldn't really speak at the sentencing hearing because he said he was kind of like, he said he was going to lose it. The sentencing hearing because he said he was kind of like, he said he was going to lose it. Like he was emotions, like that really hit me. It's kind of like I never seen him like, like that. Like
Vulnerable.
Nobody's really ever seen me that way either. That's why, maybe I just...
Was it ever like your sissy if you're like that, or was it just something you just never did?
I never saw my dad cry. So maybe it's just something that, was imprinted in my brain that maybe I should never cry.
Was your mom like a loving mom, like a doting mom, and, would give you affection as part of the kisses?
Oh yeah, she'd always, there's always a parent. It was always like what was going on. She always she was always open with me. It was always just closed off. And she always wanted to know what was going on, like how I felt. And I just said, okay, it's all good. Even if something was wrong, like I would have probably never said anything. Because like I just can't deal with it. And they take a hold of you because I thought in a way you could take a hold of you.
So you think that was a result of just bottling up for so long?
What do you remember your dad saying at sentencing?
I remember their representatives that for him. My mom said a lot. My mom spoke, but everything my dad had written down, the person said. But he always was talking about him going to Little League games and races and stuff like that. Going to races and stuff like that. Going to being a coach and everything like that. So that I could experience the same type of joy doing that with my girls.
simply mom saying she loves you and she'll let go.
Yep.
That was pretty important to hear.
Okay.
She loves you and she'll let go.
Yep.
That was pretty important to hear.
Okay. But they actually said I forgive you, son.
Yeah, that was big, right?
Yeah.
And your dad, when you came here today, we were just hoping and praying that you would take your dad's advice. Remember what he said? I hope you ever get a chance to talk and talk about it. Dad's advice. Remember what he said? I hope you ever get a chance to talk and talk about it. Okay. And I think that's what it was. Don't you?
I think it was unexpected to be dead.
So the DA made some comments during that sentencing hearing about your emotions and having no emotion. During that sentencing hearing about your emotions and having no emotions, or do you remember all that?
Yeah, just sort of, he lied to us from the start, and a couple other things. I believe that's what he was saying.
What do you think? Do you think he was anywhere close to? What do you think of? What do you basically? Do you think he was anywhere close to? What do you think of? Basically, what is your opinion of what he said in that?
I mean, it's going to be, taking all his evidence and putting in the story that he wanted to convey. And, like, if you don't know me, that's where you're gonna portray. If you don't know me, that's where you're gonna portray. Like, if you take everything from August 13th to now, like, that's how people are gonna know. That's how people. There's no other way people are gonna opinionate themselves about me, just by what they see right there.
Right.
They're gonna say, okay, they look at the guy that's talking,
Right.
and they're just like, and I know, and maybe got some information maybe from like her friend saying like he was cheating on her or something like that. He's a cold person. He was, trying to do this and that. Like, they don't know me. That's always going to be their thing about me.
Mm-hmm.
There's one trick. They don't know like what happened before or what can happen later.
Right.
So I just hope that, hopefully when they do stop judging everybody. There's tons of people in here that, I don't even want to know what they did because I don't want to judge them. Like, I'm not that person. Like, they know what I did. I'm not going to ask them what they did.
Do you think he felt most emotional?
I think I felt when Frank was talking about, I didn't know what to expect when he first started talking. But, he said I was an evil monster, and that rang in me, and he's an evil monster, and that rang in me, and he said I tossed him away like garbage, and that hurt. And, when Sandy was talking about that video about Bella was calling me her hero, and that triggered it a lot there. And then when Frankie was saying, that triggered it a lot there. And then when Frankie was saying, I'll never be called uncle again, but you'll never be called a dad again. That really stung. When my parents got up there, it's like just hearing my mom and dad talk. When my parents got up there, it's like just hearing my mom and dad talk. Just like they really couldn't look at me. But I just felt like, everything they said, saying that they forgive me and that, I'm still their son. No matter what.
Yep.
Still their son. No matter what.
Yep.
I know, like, even my attorneys told me, like, you need to show a little more emotion, because, like I say, first time I went to the courtroom, I didn't know what to expect. I'm still, like, new to everything, just in shock about what's going on, and they said I was just a cold person, just looking at me. When I did the plea, and at the sentencing hearing, it was all the assault was more real than anything. The sentencing hearing, it was all the assault was more real than anything.
I remember growing up, my pastor used to tell me, it's better to be one foot out of hell. It's better to be one foot out of hell facing heaven than one foot out of heaven facing hell.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's you. I think you've been to hell and now you're facing the right direction.
I definitely feel like it's, I never knew I could have a relationship with God like I do now, but I never knew I could have a relationship with God like I do now, but it's like the amazing grace with all of this, but I just wish nobody had to pay any kind of price for this. I know there's a purpose for everybody, I just hope that I can find mine.
Well, that's seeking peace, right? That's good. Well, that's seeking peace, right? That's good.
The only thing you really can do right now is to seek peace and hope, pray that everybody can find it too. For everybody else involved, and for all of you, all your team and everybody. Friends.
What do you want to happen with this information?
I mean, I know you're probably going to tell Frank and Sandy and Frank, you just kind of give them a little closure, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to tell them. Obviously, you know Sandy better than I. She wants to know everything. But I'm talking to anybody outside of law enforcement. But what would you like to see happen with it? I mean,
I'd like to tell my parents,
sure.
you know, when they get here, instead of finding out anywhere else.
Yep.
So not like they knew me or went out with me or had like whatever else with me. And it's like I don't want them to think that it's like other like false information going out there. It's like people are getting all the information. Like, where do they get this information from? Type deal. You know? So,
Would you like to see those people charged?
you know, people are, and, you know, they gotta honestly they'll have to look into themselves and figure out why they did it themselves. So, I mean, I don't think charging them would help. I think they just need to work out whatever they got going on for themselves. I mean,
Did you ever have a profile on? Did you ever have a profile on Tinder or anything like that? Any of those dating websites or anything?
I just have Facebook and Instagram. I didn't even know what the WhatsApp thing was called. That's what I was like, John.
You'd never heard of that?
No, I was just like, I don't even know what that is, man. This guy's fishing for something. So you gotta waste your time, go out there and talk to him. So you gotta waste your time, go out there and talk to him.
It was a big time waster.
It was a big waste of time.
Yeah. But you would not want to be listed as a victim in that case, as far as him being charged with like false reporting.
I mean, he's whoever's gonna try to get their 5 minutes, 50 minutes a day, whatever they want to do with this. I mean, that's on them. I mean, if he's willing to do that, then he needs to figure out what's going on. He needs to figure out what's going on with himself before, like, you know, I don't think charging him with something's going to fix it. So it'll just be a waste of time.
Anything else before we send it anyway?
Don't be afraid to ask.
How things in Colorado now? I mean, since all of that, everything's quiet now, everything's cool.
Well, we had another guy murdered his fiancée in front of the news. I'm sure you've probably seen that on the news now.
Everything here is based. One thing, the only thing here was like that changing clocks thing. I don't know if you heard about that.
Oh, yes. We were just talking about that out front.
But the girl was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Escaped after like 9
Yeah,
days.
that's insane.
Could probably.
Jail, is that right?
Yeah, Bear County or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so all that secret. You guys say that there, watch out. Sorry.
Yeah, like
Do
the.
you mind if I take up the show what you look like now? You just look so different than...
I just, you know, like,
It's not going to go on social media or
Okay.
anything. It's just for like our own records.
okay,
Is that okay?
that's fine.
Were you asking him something while I
No,
Sorry.
no, I was just going to say it's like the roads in the back aren't scary enough, you know.
I know. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's like the roads in the back aren't scary enough, you know.
I know. Well, when it's snowing, it's
Mm-hmm.
horrendous.
Reminds me of the days of ice racing, actually.
Of ice racing?
Yeah, but we had spikes on the tires then, so, you know.
Of ice racing?
Yeah, but we had spikes on the tires then, so, you know.
All right, Chris, we're going to let you get back to it.
Okay.
One of the engineer?
Yes, they won't let me take that back. Yeah, I had to shave it. They recommended. Yeah, I had to shave it. They recommended I change my appearance at the RDC.
Why is that? So people didn't recognize you?
Mm.
Yeah, I just shaved it all off. That razor, like I said, the razor they had here, it's like it's more than it's like it's more safety than actually a razor.
Right in the shade.
Is it like a sharp rock or something?
Just imagine shaving the same spot for like 5 minutes, and then it finally
Something starts going in?
starts. It's like I warm it up or something. I don't know. Everything here is for safety, so like,
Yeah.
I think like once I get with the GP, I can have something different. So
Oh, that makes sense.
'cause most of the guys in my unit can have razors. So that's
Well,
what,
it makes you feel better, probably.
well, they don't have to watch me. Other guys, they stand out there.
Oh.
So they have any other jobs, like if, like fleet, would you be able to go work fleet maintenance or anything like that, or is that,
Last time, like a minimum, or like a low medium. They have guys that like run across the street to like a records building.
mm,
I work over there. Like a records building.
mm,
I work over there. I don't know, like, you know, they said it takes a while to get class down from like maximum to medium.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, like, if they, I don't know if they'd ever taken that to Colorado, or I don't know what their plan would be.
right,
Colorado, or I don't know what their plan would be.
right,
I'm not sure if that happens or not.
yeah. That's all pretty secretive, and then right up to the minute they do it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys gonna do exploring around here?
Already covered in snow.
Yeah, it's not much.
It's
We were
freezing.
such wimps when we walked out.
Maybe go rent a snowmobile or two.
It's not, so you go
Yeah.
do exploring or something.
Well, NASCAR's back in full swing.
I saw the last two laps last night when we came out.
Oh, did you?
I went to over like 200 NASCAR races growing up, so
Yeah.
I went to one Daytona 500. It was one of Mark, Kevin Harley coming out of turn 4. I was just,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was a wreck fest, I heard. So.
Yeah, so I didn't get to watch it either, but you went to NASCAR school, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was fun.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
It was like my childhood, just reliving all over again.
Right.
This kind of stuff. It was really cool.
Hmm.
Not sure if that school's still over there in Mooresville or not, but I'm guessing it still is.
Yeah.
So do you have to be escorted back? Is that what you do?
Yes. Yeah, like union men, we all have to have escorts because it's a special management unit. Yeah, like union men, we all have to have escorts because it's a special management unit.
So guard escorts you everywhere.
Yep.
So what about when you're out playing basketball together? The guards watching you?
There's 3 of them in there.
You ever get fights playing basketball?
Now we're just, I mean, we're, guarding each other, like blocking everything that happens. Now we're just, I mean, we're, guarding each other, like blocking everything that happens. Everybody's go
Okay.
there.
With each other?
Yeah, take it. Yeah. Yeah.
Fly back tonight, or
Tomorrow.
probably the only time I ever come to
I went to school there, so. But I never visited them working with them, so. That was my first time driving through yesterday. It's a cute little town. Honestly, it's cute. Actually, this town's cute. Honestly, like the downtown. It's a pretty cute
Mhm.
place.
It's just so
We
desolate.
used to go like -50 with the wind chill here.
Oh.
And they said like the PSU counselor I talked to, she said it hurt to walk in there and breathe.
Wow.
I bet.
Yeah, they were saying, like, on the news, like, for people in, like, Chicago and all those places, not to take deep breaths, because it was, like, freezing their lungs.
Here that just like it froze everything. I mean, it was so cold in ourselves. We were just like going out to eat. We were like shaking like that because the heat couldn't keep up with
Yeah,
that.
there's not much you can do.
Plus, this place is old, so like all the windows like were
Oh.
they couldn't insulate it.
Yeah.
The wind was just like rushing. I don't really know much about the state or anything about what's going on in here, but like from what I see, it's they say it's decent.
Yeah.
They said it's a lot better than going anywhere else.
Yeah, that's generally the word. Is if you hear it's not as bad as other places, then it's pretty good.
Yeah, so like I'm just hoping and praying that I can help people here and that they'll keep me around and able to make me mates, mentor them, because I guess they have a couple guys that are serving their life sentence that have turned into personal care workers or counselors to help other guys when they come in. And I can do that. They don't have like the normal programs you would have, but it's fine for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like some guys like you have to go to one of the other places.
So if you just said, I want, do some more education stuff, would you get paid for those things, or is it totally up to them, whether it be...
It's totally up to them. It's like, I'm not sure how that gets paid for.
Right.
So like, I'll just, whatever they want me to do, that's what I'm going to do. If I move back to Colorado, they'll be like, why? Why do I move back to Colorado?
Oh, if they told you that,
Yeah.
you would question that?
Oh, like, after what? If I was here for a long time, and they say,
That
okay.
you would question that?
Oh, like, after what? If I was here for a long time, and they say, okay, since you leveled down, we'll move you back. I'm like, what? No, that would go.
Are you scared to level down, though?
No, I mean, it'd take years for that to happen, but like, I don't know. No, I mean, it'd take years for that to happen, but like, I don't know. I don't know how it would be like in Colorado with the DOC there. The DOC counselor, she worked DOC in Colorado and California. She said Colorado looks like California now.
Really?
She said it's bad about the gang violence. Like,
Really?
she said it's bad about the gang violence.
Yeah, I can too. It's definitely changing. Yeah, I think people up this part of the country are just different overall. I think people up this part of the country are just different overall. It's really, we kind of talked about that earlier. Colorado's not like it used to be, and people here just seem to be nice, regardless.
I think a lot of transplants probably moving into Colorado from other states.
Yeah,
Probably a lot of transplants probably moving into Colorado from other states.
yeah,
Probably affecting that. Because no, Dave Malone, he said they're moving to Florida just to get away from Colorado because it's
Oh, are they?
change.
yeah.
So expensive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Houses just keep sinking. Here, I think it's a lot cheaper. The pay's a lot. It's much lower, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing a little reading on the area, and the median house price up here is like $116,000. And you can't even buy a mailbox in Colorado.
I think I'm like Pittsburgh, kind of like the same way. It's like it's crazy to think about how much it varies from like state to state, city to city.
Pittsburgh expensive?
No, like
Oh, inexpensive?
yeah, it's like
Really?
150,000 for a house.
Really?
Like, geez. But, deal with the weather.
Yeah, I don't think I could handle that. Especially have snowmobiles.
I wouldn't go like that.
Yeah, even then, you can't do that every day, right?
Start using the snowmobile for necessity, that's a problem.
To get to the store.
Yeah, the license plate on the
Daily
bill.
commuter.
Not walk around.
Where we go?
wherever and come back.
It's a long hallway.
So how far is your, wherever you're staying from here?
All the way down that side.
So how far is your, wherever you're staying from here?
All the way down that side.
Oh,
I think this is like the west side of that building here. I haven't gone much farther than this. Like all my stuff's always on the east side. But they got huge like pods. They're like 100-foot guys in them. So they move like pods. They're like 100-foot guys in them. So they move like 40 or 50 people out each day.
You never spelled me, right?
No.
But you can tell us more.
Nope. When I go to GP, I probably will. I will. Most of the cells in my unit are single cells. There's like 3 that doubled up, but they don't have the overcrowding. There's like 3 that doubled up, but they don't have the overcrowding. They have the issue they had when I first got here.
That's what she was saying, there was 100 extra inmates.
Yeah.
They ended up shipping out to
Yeah, I never knew what the assessment part of it was as far as like how many people what the assessment part of it was as far as like how many people they had going in and out. But it was like people coming in and out everywhere.
So is it like a general supervision type thing like Will County is, where you gotta have like a big room? Vision type thing like Will County is, where you gotta have like a big room with the pods on the top, or how is that?
No, it's like you have a sergeant desk at the front of it and then a hallway with like 20 cells.
Oh, okay.
I just kind of walk back and forth. The RDC was like, you'd have like a cul-de-sac of cells, 3 tiers, and then like the perch for the sergeant right here, you can see in everybody's cell just from looking around.
Right. Okay.
But this one's like they gotta walk up and down. This used to be like a mental hospital or something. This
Oh,
back in the day.
okay.
It's definitely old. You can hear those pipes like vibrating around the walls, and it's like, well, that old bus.
Okay.
But it gets cold. It's cool.
Yeah.
It gets cold. There's like a 6-foot snowdrift outside my window for a little while. It's finally starting to go down. It might look like -50.
Keep ready.
Okay. Well, good to see you guys. Thank you.
First, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a safe flight.
All right,
Thank you.